Well, hello and good afternoon, everybody. It's Kevin Snyder with Snyder Law for our Nuggets of Knowledge, our weekly Lunch and Learn series where I let you know a little bit more about what's trending in my estate planning world and give you some insights there and open up the floor for some Q&A for you. So sorry about the little delay, had some technical difficulties. Gotta love technology, makes our world a better place, but also adds some frustration. So you see, my hair looks a little tousled. That's because I was wrestling with my computer. Okay, let's dive in. So today's conversation is about how we can protect college savings for our kids. So a lot of us out there have kids that are off to college now and are experiencing the joy and the painful frustrations of the cost of a college education these days. The numbers are staggering. I have 3 littles at home, and I just can't fathom what the costs are going to be when they go to school. So what do? Well, we can start saving now, of course. We certainly can look for financial aid, and we can encourage our children all to become superstar athletes or have some sort of unique ability that they're getting scholarships. At the end of the day, college is going to get paid for, rest assured. I know it makes a lot of us anxious. I'm with you, but just know that college is going to get paid for. Your kids are going to be able to go to school. What we're here to talk about is one of those avenues that we can look at. A lot of you have heard the phrase 529 plan. What does that mean? What's a 529 plan, and how can we protect it? Well, a 529 plan, for those of you that don't know, is a type of a college savings program in which you can save money now, have that money grow tax deferred in an account, and it can be used later for your children for educational costs. The benefits are that tax deferred growth. And that those earnings are going to appreciate over time, and you don't have to pay taxes on that appreciation like you would with something else. And when the money is withdrawn for educational costs, it's also tax-free. So it's a great benefit for parents and grandparents that want to further the values of education for their kids or grandchildren. So we talk a lot about 529 plans with clients and doing their planning and what to do with them when you are doing your planning. It's something to look at. How do we protect them? Because what's going to happen to those accounts if something happens to you or to me? So I have 529 plans set up for my children. Right now, they're minors, so they can't direct anything from those 529 plans. They're accounts that I have created that I manage. So if I were to get in an accident and I no longer have the ability to manage them because I'm incapacitated, who can do that? If I died, who can manage that for my kids? If both my wife and I were incapacitated and died, what's going to happen to the money that we put aside for their college savings? How do we protect it? And that's what we're going to talk about just a little bit today, things that little nuggets of knowledge that we give our clients. So you have these 529 plans. And as an aside, you know, and I urge you to check out our website and our blog. I just put a blog out there last week about some of the new tax laws. You can go there to the blog. You can go on our site. We have a PowerPoint presentation, a PDF you can download about more information about the changes in the tax law. Encourage you to go there, check that out. Great information. But about 529s now, moving forward, not only is it college savings, but it's educational savings. You can use your 529 funds to pay not only for college educational expenses, but also for high school and elementary school for educational costs. So that provides some unique opportunities for some of you who are parents, and certainly some of you that are grandparents, to be out there to fund these 529 plans and have more immediate uses of them, particularly because elementary and high school education for those that are going to private school education or Catholic or Lutheran or some sort of parochial education, it's expensive. And so now here's an opportunity that you can use the 529 plan. So it's not just about college savings. Really, we should say, how do we protect educational savings for our family in the future? So knowing that, moving forward, you can incorporate that into your trust planning. So when you're creating a trust, how is that trust going to be able to manage your 529 plan? You can have a trust that manages accounts like a 529 plan. A 529 plan can be owned by a trust. So it's something that you certainly can incorporate into your trust design when you're working on creating that trust design and all of the features that go along with that. What rules are you going to give your trustees that they have to abide by when managing a 529 plan or other educational costs? Are there going to be some restrictions in addition to that you can put into your trust that you cannot put into the 529 plan? There is not an ability for you to incorporate certain restrictions or guidance on the 529 account, but you can by working through a trust. So working through your revocable trust is one way that you can provide some guidance for those that are going to be managing your trust as the successor trustees later in those 529 accounts. You can also set up your own separate trust just to manage educational costs. And there's an ability to do that if you want to segment some of your estate simply for educational costs. There's some planning that can be looked at and examined for you just for that purpose. The point is that if you don't do any planning, what could happen is that you have these college savings available, and instead of them being used for education, that your children or grandchildren are able to pull them out, incur the penalty, and use them for whatever they want. Number one, they could be exposed to a forced withdrawal and then exposed to creditors. They could be managed by people that don't share the same educational values as you do and don't use the funds the way that you would have wanted them to be used. Or lastly, they could be sitting there in litigation to determine who it is that's going to be able to manage those funds and how they're going to be managed. Or quite simply, the worst case scenario is that they go unclaimed because nobody knows that you had set up these 529 plans and that they're not available for your children to use. So to summarize, there's a lot that can be done through a comprehensive view at your estate and incorporating the conversation of how are we going to protect our children's educational funds to ensure that they're used for education and they're used in a way that we would want them to be used, particularly if there are other sort of values we want to associate along with that. And we can do that with your estate planning is the great news. And the other great news and the takeaway today is that you can use a 529 plan to fund all sorts of educational costs now in 2018 and moving forward, not just college. So there you go, nugget of knowledge for you today. 529 plans are a great avenue, not your only avenue. I encourage you to go out there, talk to your financial advisors about and wealth managers out there about what is available for you for college savings. That's just one strategy and one little tool in the tool belt. Lots of other different tools out there. You want to pick the one that's going to work best for you, your family, and your goals for the future. So if you don't have a financial advisor you're working with, please let me know. Happy to connect you with those that are in our network that we work with. We have several different great relationships we'd love to introduce you to. So please reach out. Now I want to just take a pause for a second, check in, see how you guys are doing, what questions you might have about 529 plans, how to protect them, and how to protect educational costs for our kids. So I'm going to scroll down here, see who has come in. Here's a great question. 529 plans. How are they harmful or helpful when it comes to financial aid? Great question. I talk a lot with financial advisors and college advisors about college savings and how best to maximize the availability of financial aid when you're filling out the FAFSA. So the 529 is something that will have to be disclosed on the FAFSA if it is 529 you've taken out for your child. Different scenario if it's a grandparent providing for a grandchild, so a great opportunity for grandparents to really maximize the value of their 529 funds that they're providing their children, their grandchildren, because the grandchildren still can qualify for some financial aid to defray cost, and then there's more funds available for continued schooling. What if a grandchild wants to pursue a graduate school program or beyond PhD, beyond that? Now there's more funds to do that because they receive some, financial aid to assist to defray other educational costs. So something to talk to your financial advisors about. Please, talk to your parents about that. I know a lot of my friends' parents and my parents are talking about that. How can we assist with the kids' education? A great conversation to have there. Bring them in to your world and your conversations with your financial advisors, so you can really maximize those future dollars for your kids. And if your parents or their grandparents out there that are doing 529 planning, it's also important to put those protective shields around those accounts as well. So for the same reasons that I just talked about when it comes to parents, really those same concerns are there for grandparents too. You would hate to have those 529 plans go unclaimed or managed by people you didn't want to be managing them, or have beneficiaries use them for other reasons in which you intended. So great question. A lot of implications when it comes to college savings. Okay. So it looks like it's a wrap, and as I want to keep these short and sweet, so you can come in, jump in while you're having lunch, get some information, and go about your day. We'll be right back here, same time, same day, Tuesdays, 12:15. We're going to be doing this on a weekly basis, so please stop in when you can live, and you can always come back to our Facebook page and check out the feeds later if now isn't a time that you can make it. We're going to be giving you some great content, at least that's the hope. Would ask you to go on, if you haven't already, like our page. Also, shoot me a message. Let me know what you want to hear about. We want to give you some value back. Want to make sure that I am talking to you about what you want to know. We want to make sure that these really are nuggets of knowledge for you, not just what I think you might want to know. So leave me a message on Facebook. You can send me an email at kevin@snyderlawpc.com. Visit our webpage at snyderlawpc.com. Send me a message there. Check out some of our great content there. Really appreciate this time with you, and go out and have an amazing day.